It's Lindsay from World Changing Kids, and my pronouns are she and her. And we are here with
Little alien.
awesome kids in our April break online camp where the theme is refugees. And so today we are going to be interviewing my new friend Amanda, all about the work she does to help refugee families settle here in the Ottawa Gatineau area. So I'm super excited to learn from her, and I will now pass it over to you, Amanda.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I just want to say first, I'm really, really happy that you're talking about refugees this week. Being a refugee is not something very many Canadians have ever experienced. And so it's really important, I think, to learn about that. Refugees are just like you and me, exactly the same as our families, our friends, our relatives, but through no fault of their own, refugees have had to run away from their country because it's not safe for them anymore. And they have to leave behind everything they have ever had and everyone they have ever known. And they run away with just a little suitcase in the night. So that's really hard for us to imagine. But this happens to people all over the world every single day. Canada, though, is one of the countries that helps refugees by bringing them here to safety. But if you can imagine what it's like to be a refugee arriving in Canada, it's exactly like landing on Mars. You have no idea where you are. You don't know anything about Canada. You don't know how things work here. You don't know how to speak English or French. And you're really, really tired and scared. So refugees, the thought of refugees always made me really, really sad. And so what I decided was there was no point being sad. I needed to do something to help them. So what I decided to do was, one of the first things I learned is that refugees get the keys to an apartment here, but it's empty. They're given a little bit of money to buy things for their apartment, like at places like Value Village and places like that, but it's not very much money. And I thought, well, maybe if I ask my friends to give things from their own houses, maybe the refugee families could save that money and pay rent with it or buy food, that kind of thing. So I decided I would ask, I started with one family and I decided I would ask my friends, can you give me things from your house? And within 1 week, this family, refugee family, their apartment was completely set up. There were clothes for the kids. The little girl who had trouble hearing now had batteries for her hearing aid. She didn't even have those when they got here. And they were all set up with comfy beds where they could get a good night's sleep and where they could feel really safe and respected. And so it worked. And then through word of mouth, like families talking to each other as new families arrived, I kept getting phone calls. And now I have helped well over 100 Syrian refugee families. And what that made me realize is that one simple action does make a big, big difference in the lives of many, many people. It's like when a tiny drop of water goes into the lake and it just expands and expands and expands. All it takes is that one tiny drop of water. And so, but the best thing the best thing that's happened to me is that I've become friends with all of these families and we stay in touch. And so while I teach them about Canada, they teach me so much about where they come from, their culture, their food, all sorts of things. And so I'm actually the one who's lucky and very, very privileged to get to know these wonderful people. And that's kind of what I do. I do it on my own. I don't make money. It's just something I decided I wanted to do.
And I love it. It is so important. And it's so, I mean, it takes someone like you who's willing to do this and, you know, make the connections. but I know a lot of people want to help. They just don't always know
They
how.
don't know how. Yeah, they don't know what to do.
Yeah. So I love that you're doing this, and it's very grassroots, and it's not a big, huge organization doing it, which there's room for that too. But I think there's definitely room for just each of us taking our own action and helping. Oh, do we already have a question?
That made me feel happy.
The story made you feel happy?
Because it's a good thing to help people who can't help themselves.
Yeah, and you know, it helps people who have had nothing. And some of these people, when they run away from their country, they run to another country where they live in a camp like the one you just saw in the video. And they can be there sometimes for like 7 or 8 years, living in a tent with nothing. And so when they get here, they're so tired and scared. They don't know where they are. And it just takes a little bit of help for them to start to feel better about themselves. And within a very short period of time, they learn how to speak English or French, they get jobs, the kids are in school, their whole lives change. But I just thought it was a horrible thing that they walk into an empty apartment after everything they've been through. So they walk into comfy homes with everything they need so that they can rest and start to heal again. So it's good. And they're wonderful people.